Step in a Pod.
My name is Tolu.
And my name is Stephanie. Thanks for joining us again on our episode as we cover our summer recap and all the classes we took this semester.
So for the summer, we took Biomechanics, Clinical Neuro, Med Micro, Lower Extremity Anatomy 2, and Physio 2. Boy, oh boy, was summer one of those. Summer was definitely one of the toughest semesters, I think, so far at Berry, just because it was 5 classes. Technically, we're supposed to take 6, but because of COVID, they took off general radio. We're taking that now, currently. And when I tell you that to learn a semester's worth in legit 10 weeks, it was a lot. It was a lot. I remember looking at my calendar and my planner after the first week where it was like syllabus week. Every week we had 3 to 4 assessments up until finals week. It was a lot. But we're going to give you a recap of some of the classes. So for Biomechanics, that was actually a very interesting course. It's very innovative of how the gait cycle, which is walking, you think that you just walk your feet, I'm just walking, it's a simple movement, but actually a lot of things go into moving your feet. You know, we learned about muscle actions, when muscles are firing, when your heel is coming into contact with the ground. It was just a very, very interesting class. But like I said, because so much was happening, it was very, very rushed. The second course, Physio 2, was pretty chill for summer semester. We only had to do respiratory and GI, which was very straightforward and simple. I was like, to me, was like a breather class as compared to biomechanics. And clinical neuro was actually a really good course as well too, because it was actually very like clinic heavy for like from going from neuroanatomy in the spring to like learning what happens with I remember talking about bitemporal something like lesion on the head. It was just an interesting course with like different like clinical scenarios and cases. It actually made you feel like you were a student doctor and not just studying the basic sciences.
Yeah, very interesting cases. I feel like we learned a lot.
Definitely very good.
I'm a little bit naughty. I'm a little bit too.
And we also did cover Med Micro, and that was our first Med Micro class. We talked a lot about just the bacteria and different types of like gram staining. So it was more of an introduction for microbiology. That was pretty interesting. It was kind of a class that the one that was prioritized lower just because we had more freedom with the assessments. We had 2 exams and a final, so it wasn't too stressful compared to the other class. The last one was lower extremity anatomy. We took the second part of that, and that was just recapping everything we did in the first half with just the lower leg focus. And we also were learning more details clinically of the lower legs, so that was a lot. We had quizzes every Monday, which were everything, all the anatomy portions, including the MRIs, we did x-rays. It was just a lot, very dense. The exam, yeah, the different kind of cuts and slices of MRI, which was intense. I feel like we learned so much that, but it was just so rapid. And then our exams were based on clinical testing and just clinical factors that had to do with lower leg.
The second year started summer for us, so I would definitely say that it really became clinic heavy as opposed to learning of like this muscle, where it attaches to, the innervation, the muscle function. Lower anatomy was like, this person shows this type of positive sign, or like Trendelenburg gait. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
And you know, like what type of symptoms or positive signs would you see in a case in a patient. It was just a lot of case studies too, very research case study heavy. It was a lot. Summer was stressful.
It was very stressful. The hard part is that you really had no time to breathe because your weekends you're studying for the quizzes, which were for anatomy, and these were also heavily weighted in your grade. And the crazy thing is that most of these classes are only 2 credits. So we were doing all this work for a 4-credit course, but it was only 2 credits. And it was just nonstop because we also had biomechanics quizzes during the week. So a typical week was in physio, and then this is the weeks that they kind of alternated with the quizzes versus when we had exams. So we always had anatomy quizzes every Monday. Biomechanics kind of alternated every other week with quizzes, and then we also had physio quiz, which was like every 2 weeks. And then it also incorporated exam that we had for all the classes. So it was
if you technically think about it, it would be like a Monday we would have a quiz, and then Tuesday maybe biomechanics or physio, and then Wednesday or Thursday we had a test for either one of those 5 classes we spoke about. And then it was like, I remember one week we had med micro, finished taking the exam, and I was like, "Ooh, I can breathe." I was only able to breathe for Thursday night. Friday, I had to start studying for anatomy again because it was a lot. Like, even if you try to stay on top of it, it was just so much in such a short amount of time. And like she said, it was only 2 credit courses. I've never worked so hard for a 2 credit course in my life. It was a lot.
We really learned that like you can get so much done in 24 hours if we learned how to study for exams the day before, because you literally had no time. I felt like I was treading water the whole summer, and we were just, it was a lot.
It was a lot. I definitely look back at summer, and I was just telling Stephanie the other day, like, how did we survive? But honestly, it just proves to show you that like every semester is going to be different, and no matter what, you're going to make it through, whether if you're dying half of the way or not. And still, like, we still had to like work out, we still were doing other things outside of school. It was just a lot, but thankfully we made it through, we pushed through, and honestly, I look back at it, I'm like, okay. And it really did prepare you to legit study the night before, to be honest. Because there was no way. There was just no way for you to keep up with all that amount of information they're throwing at you. And you definitely want to, the quizzes weighed more too. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just
you just really wanted to do the best you could do. Yeah. We all started out like, okay, like spring kind of beat us in the butt, let's get A's. And then we're just like, let's do the best we can, because it was just all a lot.
I can tell you, a month into the summer session, I was like, honestly, I would be okay with all these.
So after that whole summer, we did that for 10 weeks, draining 3 assessments a week. We finally had a month break. We were able to go home, we were able to relax, and we both, like, some of us had our struggles with the end of the quarter, but we made it through, and, you know.
I'm a little bit naughty, I'm a little bit too consumed, but every part of my body.
You know, like we said, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yes! But it definitely was a well-deserved break. It was definitely needed. I felt like everyone came back refreshed. Here we are, fall semester.
Yes.
So, thank you for joining us today. Stay tuned for the next episode. And like always, tell your mom, your dad, your cousin, your auntie, your uncle, your grandma, your nephew, and your niece,
The whole family.
about Step Into Pod. You can definitely email us with any questions or suggestions and stuff at stepintopod@gmail.com. You can send us a DM at stepintopod on Instagram, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. And also, don't forget to check out the finals game today. Go Lakers!
Woo!
She wants the Heat, but you know.
It's okay. I'm a Miami girl.
We do it for Mamba.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
I'm a savage, classic, bougie, ratchet, sassy, moody, nasty, acting stupid, what's happening?
Yeah.
I'm a savage.
Yes.